Teamster Power 767 Reality Check with Jeff Schenfeld and Garfield Hooper. All right, thank you everyone for watching and listening. Today we have Seth Pacic, package car driver out of Independence, and today we're going to talk about something a little different. Um, because what we do here is we educate, we want to empower, and the problem sometimes what we're hearing from emails and speaking to people across the country is their local union is not doing the right thing by them. And it's a problem, and that's why we're going to be talking about DFR charges today, the duty of fair representation. So it's
We're not going to
I
make
think
any
that
friends, I don't think, talking about this, which is fine. We're not here to make friends.
that's
But
fine with me.
yeah, the thing about it is like a lot of people go into they see that the union and the grievance process is like that's like the end of it. Whatever the union decides, whatever your local union decides, like that's just it. There's not much I can do. But just like with everything, if you feel like you weren't represented properly for whatever reason, like obviously there's obvious reasons. If you feel like race was part of it, or your sexual identity, or maybe somebody just they just don't like you for whatever reason and you weren't represented properly, things like
Yeah.
that. Those are the more obvious ones.
Yeah. So, and I think everyone should know that it's on the IBT website about DFR charges. Okay.
Yes.
So, they put that, they talk about it, and, we have some specific things. And, just want to read some things here. Get on my glasses here because it's important. All right. Um, Duty of fair representation is the union's obligation to represent the members of the bargaining unit in a fair and good faith manner. This obligation occurs in exchange for the sole and exclusive authority conferred by law as a means of preventing individuals from acting in their own personal interests in functions such as negotiations and grievances performed on behalf of workers. Now, the thing here is, and I'm going to say it, okay? We know the companies that we deal with, they're a known entity. They're going to, a lot of the time, they're not going to do the right thing, right? But when you have your own people not doing the right thing, that's as egregious as it gets. How dare someone that gets voted in and someone who gets hired like a BA think they can just do whatever we want? And just from going through the emails, that we get, and like I said, speaking to people, the things that go on. I mean, the things that go on, like, not settling grievances from members because they might not be politically aligned with them, or just a lot of things. And some things are very clear and some things aren't very clear. But what we're seeing, is, we had something out of the we'll just say out of the Midwest, where they were removing stewards after an election, the stewards that ran against them. That's a little crazy, right? I mean, that's crazy. Who does that? I mean, you take good stewards out and whatnot, and and you don't want to settle their grievances, or you put it to the bottom of the pile, or you clearly make a settlement for one of your friends and not for the other. I mean, everything matters. And understand something. Just because you don't get a decision you don't like doesn't mean it's a DFR charge.
No.
Okay. That's important. I think everyone needs to know that, because only 3% of DFR charges actually go further than the first couple of steps, because they're not filed right. They're filed because someone feels or thinks. You got to have facts like anything else. If someone's not doing right, they need to be held accountable, right? I
Yep.
mean, it's I mean, let me ask you something, Seth. What are your thoughts on this? What are your thoughts on TFR charges and the locals' responsibilities?
I mean, I think like what you said about only 3% of them going through, like I've the thing is that that may be true, but oftentimes it's what you accomplish what you're trying to accomplish just by making the threat, right? Like
Absolutely.
I
Yep.
tell
We talked
people
about this.
when there seems to be no other recourse, when their leadership is, because I talk to people around the country, when their leadership is like letting them down or just not representing them, or they're the major roadblock to like what's happening. What I usually tell people is like send an email to your principal officer where you
Hmm.
subtly sort of like hint around at like the idea that you're not being represented fairly or blah blah blah, and like and what your issue is, and that doing it via email is important because that's like giving it absolute evidence that you did it. And
Yep.
it's amazing the amount of times that they get a call or an email or something back like almost immediately, sometimes within a matter of an hour, when they'd been stonewalled and by their like leadership and every other means that they'd try to communicate with them. It really
Yeah.
can get them to just like do a complete about face. It's enough of a kick in the ass for them to get them to actually like do what they're supposed to do a lot of times. Not all the time, right? But a lot of
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Like we talked about that this week. Yeah. Yeah. It's about, putting that, doing just the fear of, putting the labor your charges to begin with. Maybe that does it. Right. But again, it doesn't always work. Right. So you have to take the next step. You got to file it. Now, I'm going to read something here. Okay. It's important. It's just an example. All right. Feel like my union has treated me unfairly. What are my rights? A union owes a duty of fair representation to all the workers it represents. This duty requires that the union act fairly, impartially, and without ill will or discrimination when pursuing a worker's grievance or when negotiating a new contract with the employer. The union is required to take reasonable steps to investigate a grievance and must represent members in more than a dismissive manner. It is illegal for a union to treat you in ways that are arbitrary, a union refusing to pursue grievances without reason, and for that matter, withdrawing grievances. You can't just withdraw grievances. PAs can't just withdraw the grievances. Discriminatory union refuses to pursue the grievances of all its non-white workers. Any type of discrimination. That's self-explanatory. Or in bad faith, the union official fails to respond to your complaint just because he or she doesn't like you or your political affiliation. So, I mean, basically, when they're doing something. I mean, right? I think we all can see when, they don't want to treat fairly, they want to treat their friends differently, and it becomes a problem. And they make themselves out bigger than the union itself, right? Oh, this isn't about the members. This is about me. This is about me. And that's what you get. And that's what I think that what I got from a lot of the emails, I don't know about you too, Garfield, that we read, it's the same thing happening across the country. A lot of the same things are happening.
It just seems like it seems like the and it's difficult to put it in to compare our local to some of the others. A couple of the ones we hear of, have like 700 or 800 members, and we have
Yeah.
11,000. So obviously we have more resources than they do, but I don't understand like why some of these. It feels like the BAs out of those smaller ones, like they're not either they're not being trained well enough or they don't care enough to do it correctly. I don't understand. Yeah, because like some of the settlements that I've heard coming out of those areas are just like, why would you settle this like this? Why would you are you reading a different contract than I am? And like I understand that we're all in the same southern region, we're all under the same national, so we have the exact same contract as those guys do. But like I don't read this the way you settled it. Like I don't understand that. Like
Yeah.
if I could
Yeah.
talk to those business agents, it would be one thing and be like, "Hey, how are you coming to this conclusion? Because I need to hear this thought process." But like we're
Yeah.
just hearing it from the members association, from the members perspective. So like, and that's one thing I want to get across too is like Seth said, this isn't just, oh, I didn't get what I wanted to out of this grievance, I'm going to file a DFR charge.
Yeah. Mhm.
Follow the steps. Talk to your business agent. Email your business agent.
Documented.
They all should have their own email addresses. Email and don't just email your president or principal officer. Email your e-board. Like CC all of them in this so that so that like that the entire board has had the opportunity to look at this. Like, look, I don't feel like this business agent is representing us properly.
Yeah.
This is why.
Yeah.
Maybe he just needs more education. Maybe he needs maybe we need a new business agent. But either way, you've documented that you've moved forward with this and put it in a position to be like, hey, I'm letting you guys know that this guy's not doing the right thing. You need to do something about it. And
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
it, it
Yeah.
the
yeah,
steps that when you take the steps that you would take to sort of make the initial like sort of threat and communication are the same steps you're going to have to take if you're going to press it further anyway, because you're going to need
yes,
evidence, and record keeping is very important when it comes to DFR
Oh, yeah.
charges, bringing anything before the board, right? So like you're going to want to be doing these steps anyway. You're going to be wanting to email them anyway. So you may as well like email your business agents, like you said, then escalate to emailing your e-board, emailing your principal officer, and make sure that it's email or if a certified letter works too. But
Give them the
something that you can
opportunity to
verify.
fix it, right?
Yeah, give them the
Give
exactly.
them the
opportunity to fix it.
opportunity.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's
It's
not.
not to,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
that's not what this is about. This isn't a foul
Yeah.
about filing a DFR charges because you're mad or
Yeah.
you didn't get the proper outcome. This is about fixing the problem when it comes
Yeah.
down to it. Whether that problem be with your principal officer or whether it be with your BA or whether it be with the administration as a whole. This is about fixing the problem, and the first step is making sure that everybody is aware of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. I mean, I think that people, when something happens, I think people will think there's no recourse, right?
Yeah,
Oh, I can't do anything. They're in power. We can't do anything. No, no, we're here to say you can. You can. And you need to follow the steps, document, do everything you have to do. You give them a chance. And if they don't care enough to try and fix that problem, in arrogance or for whatever reason,
yeah.
and you keep going with it. You keep going with it. Listen, DFR charges are filed and successful because these administrations and business agents are not doing the right thing, right? And it's the person following through, but they wouldn't have to file them if you would have just done the right thing,
Yeah.
right? I mean, I don't understand. It's about taking care of the members, not taking care of yourself or just doing whatever. And I think what we're going to do is we'll put the paperwork for DFR charges is one page. Okay, we're going to put that up. We're going to post that. There's some instructions with it also, but it's a one page filing.
Yeah, I'll add the links to this stuff
Yeah,
in the
okay, add the
description of
links.
this
Yeah,
YouTube video as well. So if people need to go and check it out, it'll be on YouTube.
yeah. So and again, I mean Garfield. When we look through those emails, I mean it's every part of the country.
Yeah,
It's I mean it's unbelievable.
yeah.
And like
We
I
Very,
said, a
very
get,
lot of the
common.
same
yeah,
things.
yeah.
It's very common.
It's a problem. And I'm here to say no. We're done with that. We're done. You guys are not going to do what you want. Any administration, whatever, you're not.
It,
Members pay their dues. They want to be taken care of.
it
So,
it baffles me that this organization as a Teamster, we stand up, we speak truth to power. That is what
yep.
unions are about. It's what they've always
Hmm.
been about from the glory days of when we were breaking kneecaps and blowing up buildings and all that kind of stuff to now when we have
We don't
free.
condone that.
We don't condone any of that stuff these days.
No,
But
no.
we have we do everything in the legal system, and we carry briefcases, and this is the original organization that has not put up with shit from people that are more powerful than us. And when people inside this organization think that they can bully or and get away with things, it honestly shocks me that they think that people are just going to sit by and take it, because that's not what
Yeah.
Teamsters is about. This is an
Nope.
organization about standing up for your rights, making sure that you and the people around you are protected and knowledgeable and educated. And if we let the Teamsters organization get away with it, it's our own damn fault, because nobody's more prepared to deal with it than we are.
Yep. Yep. And then we want to prepare the members that, hey, again, you can do something. And we're doing this to fight a lot of things we were doing here to educate and empower against any company. God knows we're going to, if we're going to hold the companies accountable, we're going to hold ourselves accountable. I've
Exactly.
said that forever. And that's the truth. So no one is above anyone in the Teamsters. They may have positions or titles, but you're not better than anyone. And if you do wrong, then you know, the members need to let them know about this.
The very least
So
you can do is admit it.
yeah, right, yeah. So I think it was important what we talked about. We'll post the links for everyone. If you have any questions, send us the emails. And it was an important topic to talk about. I want to thank Seth for joining us, as always, Garfield, and everyone have a good day.
Yeah.
We all deal with national language, but on this podcast, when it comes to supplemental language, we deal mostly with the southern region. And as always, it's best to get advice from your local stewards or business agents. If you would like to reach out to us with any questions, we have an email address, 767realitycheck@gmail.com. That's 767realitycheck@gmail.com.
And remember, strong people stand up for themselves, but the strongest people stand up for others.